Welcome back to Sailing Al Haleo. We finally managed to escape Belhaven, North Carolina on the 28th of May, 2022. We are currently making our way north back up the ICW with a destination of Delaware City. These next couple weeks are just going to be about our travels along the route, so sit back and enjoy. When we left off last week, we were heading up Chesapeake Bay and we had anchored for the night in Mill Creek. We were going to stay there for a day due to high winds in Chesapeake Bay the next day, so I got out the drone to check out the nearby town of Tolles Creek.
Coffee breaks, Tuesdays and random days. It's how we spend the worst days of our lives. Your sister doesn't like me much. Your father thinks that I'm a nut. Your son and daughter just don't want to choose. Think it's time to get away and see. There's a big old world and it's calling you and me. Seattle's cold and I don't like New Orleans. There's a place I know would fit for you and me. Let's go to Carolina. We could start a new life. Already my best friend. Why don't you be my new wife? I don't like living. You don't have much to trust in. You're scared to love again. I don't wanna miss a blessing. In Carolina, Carolina. The weather's nice and the leaves still turn. We can settle down and the kids can learn that home isn't a place but a feeling. There's American pride and Southern charm. Sunday school and lots of arms. We can spend the rest of our lives. Let's go to Carolina. We could start a new life. You're already my best friend. But don't you be my new wife? I don't like living. You don't have much to trust in. You're scared to love again. I don't want to miss a blessing.
Out in the bay, which is just over that way, Chesapeake Bay, they are getting 25-ish knot winds right now. I don't know if you guys can see, but the entrance to the creek here, you can see there's quite a bit of action over there, and we're shielded pretty nicely by this stand of trees here. We do have a little bit of breeze, which is awesome because it is warming up, but I mean, it's definitely sheltered here. This is a great spot. This is just south of the Potomac and it's called Mill Creek, and the creek actually goes back up that ways a few more miles, and there is one other boat here that's also sheltering from the wind. Yeah, this has been a really great place. Really great place, dude. Really great place. And this guy in this house over here, he actually called me as soon as I got here yesterday, and he was apologizing because he had some work to do on his house and he'd be making noise, and he didn't want to disturb my peace. Which is pretty insane, you know. I was pretty blown away by that. So everyone here is that I've seen, some fishermen and stuff, and everyone's been friendly and great, and this seems like a really good hiding spot. So if you ever need to get out of the wind, I would recommend Mill Creek. So this is a really good spot to wait out bad weather, and it's becoming popular as the day goes on. I think we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and myself makes 6. So yep, a lot of people have rolled in here throughout the day. We got up early the next morning to make the 44-mile trip from Mill Creek up to the Patuxent River, I believe it's called. Patuxent? I don't know where they come up with these names. But we did cross the outlet from the Potomac, and we made our way up to a place called the Solomons. And this was a very congested place. There were marinas all along in here. And the first night I stayed in Back Creek at the spot where the pins are located, and it was very crowded. A storm came through that night, and the next day we were expecting more high winds, and I was not happy there because there were just too many boats, and this is new to me, so I don't like staying around places where you don't have some time to deal with stuff. So I went further up Back Creek, and I actually ended up anchoring right back in the very end of Back Creek, and I stayed there the next day. On the second day, after I had anchored further up Back Creek, I was able to get out the drone and do a low pass through the area. Right on the other side of Pawtuxet River, or however you pronounce it, there is a large Air Force base, and right next to the Solomons there's a highfalutin area that's a no-fly zone, so there are heavy drone restrictions for this area. So I kept it low, and I didn't go very far. I wanted to stay well within the restrictions for the area. All of the small creeks in this area spiderweb, and all along each side are marinas, all the way up and down. It's a very congested area. Unfortunately, it's one of the few places to anchor in this area where there's any protection from bad weather. It certainly was not my favorite place to be. Way too many people. I prefer to be all alone on a river 50 miles away from the nearest human. On the way to the Solomons, I did actually start to develop two issues with my engine. One was a coolant leak, and that stemmed from a leaking gasket around the thermostat. This was an issue that I had known about in the past on our first trip from New York to Delaware City. That the whole engine debacle. If you haven't heard about it, go back and listen to it. We did stupid stuff. But so that was a nagging issue from then. So I was able to I had the replacement gaskets, I had a new thermostat. It didn't have anything to do with the thermostat, but I replaced it anyway. And I played musical bolts, and I was able to get that issue fixed until I got back to Delaware City. And the other issue was a fuel supply issue. So our fuel pressure started to creep up on the way up to the Solomons. So I did replace the fuel filter. That brought it back down a little bit, but not all of the way. And this issue continued to nag us all the way back to Delaware City. So I knew there was something in the system that was providing a blockage somewhere, or causing a blockage somewhere. So that is one of the things that's on my project list.